Warframe is a video game that was released on March 25th, 2013 by the developers Digital Extremes, and it is still played to this day, January 26th, 2023. But the main question I am going to be announcing to the world is, how does it hold up in 2023? My name is Disco Maniac, and today we're going to be talking about everything that I feel that Warframe does well and does negatively, and I'm going to give it an overall rating. It is rated 9 out of 10 on Steam, and it is free to play all throughout the entire world. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Warframe is a free-to-play action role-playing third-person shooter multiplayer online game developed by Digital Extremes. That was the summary that Warframe itself gives. Me personally, I would describe it as a third-person shooter time-based video game. It is free to play and it is absolutely not pay to win. But primarily, we're going to be talking about 4 aspects of Warframe itself: the story, the gameplay, the graphics, and the bugs. So I'm going to have to tell everyone there are going to be spoilers in this. I really don't want to spoil anything, but I think that should be without a doubt known. So first things first, we're going to talk about the story. Now, I have officially beaten the story. I beat the new war quest. I still am on the Zariman mission, so I am at least decently educated in what I'm talking about, and I have a handful of hundreds of thousands of hours all throughout all my playthroughs. Oh my god, I got a burp. Now, I'm going to be talking about the story as a whole and how it holds together, and I'm going to be rating this game more on how the development team really put this project together, and so far, I can positively say that I am very pleased, and I would very much recommend this entire story. A couple flaws of the story: there are some plot points, as I said, there are spoilers. There's one point that I didn't like in between the New War epilogue, I believe it is, right before the New War came out. It's whenever you get the the giant sword that Valis gives you. During that, the entire monologue seems to have a sort of feeling towards that he has towards Lotus. I don't really understand it. It seems very unnecessary, but he's saying that, oh, you know, she's so powerful, she's so strong, and if you replay it with that mentality, it doesn't make sense. And if you understand what's going on, that's great. But me personally, after like playing the whole thing, kind of playing the entire story within 30 days, it's kind of like I expected it to make more sense, but that one thing didn't really make any sense. And then Ballas is now like the leader. Lotus is a little bitch. She's dead. I don't make any sense. Nata, Margulis, whichever one you want to say. But besides that one point, the only other issue I think that the game itself has with the story is you need to have progressed a large amount in order to complete the story. You need your Void Rig and your Archwing, and those things may take a while to get. The Archwing you can get pretty early on, but you do need a Void Rig and a Railjack too. A Railjack and the Archwing aren't really too hard to get. You can get them pretty early on, but the Void Rig you do need to be decently into the game, or at least understand what's going on, and you have to be some sort of end game. You need to be about level 50 gear wise in order to do the story, which I do think is going to make it harder for people that enjoy the story to actually play the story. But that's just my opinion, and again, this is my review, so if you think something different, that's fine, but this is how I'm putting it in. But besides those things, I think the story and the cinematics are amazing. If you compare the story from the beginning towards the end near the New War and then the Zariman quest, it all fits together perfectly. I think the fact that you can play as a Grineer and a Corpus in between the storyline is just fantastic. The fact that they put the thought into making that into an actual thing that you can do is remarkable. You actually, like, I love playing Call and I love playing Veso, but the problem I had is I don't like how Veso died, but that's besides the point. I love playing Call. I love how he loves his brothers. There's a little bit more lore toward the Grineer. I don't know. The story itself, I feel like in the end, besides those 2 things that I didn't really like, besides that, the story was amazing. I think it is like one of the best stories I've ever played. I'm sorry, I'm jumbling with words, but like it was fantastic. So, on story-wise, I'm definitely going to have to give the game 8 out of 10 with the story. Now, gameplay, this one's a little different. The way I like to think about the Warframe gameplay is it's kind of like music, alright? It's kind of like a song. Alright, you can hear a song, right? You can have the 4 chords that used to a song, you can do it however you want, but everyone's going to play it a little bit differently. Every artist is going to have their own little twist to it, and every single time you play a song, like live, you're going to hear it completely different besides the studio version, right? Even studio versions sound differently. The reason I say that is because Warframe base, it looks like all you do is the exact same stuff over and over and over again. So if you are someone who like does the exact same thing over and over again, you're gonna get really bored, and you just kind of like find your end game build. You're gonna get really bored. But if you play different Warframes, use different weapons, get your like look for different mods, play during update after update, the game gets a lot more interesting. There's like hundreds of different loadouts you can use, and there's like thousands of different mod slots you can change. There's probably no way, unless you're completely end game, for you to run into the exact same build, especially early on. There are mods that are better, but that's the freedom of having the Warframe gameplay. You fight the Corpus, the Corrupted, the Infested, and the what the fuck are they called? The Grineer. I am so sorry. You fight those 4 constantly, and there are some other ones. You have some Sentience in there. Kuva, but that's still Grineer. Whatever. There's plenty of in-game content, and I really do think that the gameplay may seem repetitive, and it can kind of be repetitive, but as long as you do different things and kind of make the game more interesting as you play, it gets more interesting. There's always something to do. There's always mods to collect, especially if you are a huge collector and you love story. This game is the game for you. I 100% recommend it. I will die on the hill that Warframe is a great game for beginners. And if you just have a couple, honestly, it took me 30 days to get to the end game, and I played this game probably about 4 to 5 hours a day. Okay, if you spend an hour a day playing this game, it is definitely going to keep you entertained the entire time. And I'm still not even done with the missions, and there's still plenty of stuff for me to do, plenty of endgame content. The game will not be boring. There's always time to fill out your stuff. I could go on for hours. So in sense of gameplay and how consistently you can play the game, I definitely believe this game is like 10 out of 10, would play again. Also, it is very unique in its design, as in you can run around, you can do kick flips. You have a lot of, I guess, freedom, and there are some decisions you can make throughout the game through the story, which I forgot to mention through the story, but besides that, like, I don't know, not even besides that, those are just unique things that happen in the game that I think make it a little bit more different than other games. We're going to give the story an 8 out of 10, and the gameplay a solid 10 out of 10, in my personal opinion. Now we're going to talk about the graphics. Now, I love the scenery in Warframe. I personally do not have to worry about things like, you know, texture glitches or my screen tearing, anything like that. So I personally think that the development team, whenever they came to their art design and just character design, weapon design, everything looks to some extent unique and a little bit more different than other things. Even if you get something that's primed Ballistia or the primed Orthos to the Orthos Prime, they all have different like things besides just the fact they look better and cooler. They have a lot more of a unique feel to it, and you still feel a little bit, I don't know, I would like to say that you feel a little bit better. You know, you feel good. If you have a full Prime set, you feel great. Like it, oh God. Woo. As in, your character looks badass, and you're walking around this badass scenery with these badass graphics in this badass game. It's just awesome. I love the texture of the water. I love the environments and the plane of Eidolons. I fucked that up. I love everything about Warframe, especially the graphics. I love the snow features. I love Deimos. It looks really creepy. I love Fortuna. Anyway, definitely with graphics, I gotta say 10 out of 10. There's not really much to really say. The game looks beautiful, especially on the highest graphics. You can see all the small little texture details, and the cutscenes in the highest graphics are just fucking remarkable. I think the only way that any game could probably get a 1, which is just awful on graphics, is if there's just glitches, like you're just tearing up everything. But because they perfected this game for so long, I think it's just beautiful. Now we're going to talk about bugs. Now this one I feel like is going to be my controversial opinion towards this game itself, and I would say that I am kind of a Warframe stan. I play the game a lot, I have a lot of hours, I will probably consistently be playing Warframe for my entire life, but I think primarily I'm gonna have to give like the bugs, I don't really experience any, I'm not gonna lie. There have been a couple times where I'm farming Kuva liches and the leech will fall down inside of a broken spot. That's only happened once, but I feel like the more you play, the more bugs you deal with. People call the game bug frame, which doesn't make sense to me. I don't ever really experience them. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. So I am sorry if that's kind of like different. If you guys are experiencing bugs, I'm sorry about that. But based on my experience alone, I've had like not really. I've never had to worry about that previously. Whenever I was playing on different accounts, I had more bugs, but I'm talking about my experience now, more towards the end of 2022, the beginning of 2023, and so I will probably proudly say that there are very few bugs. So on the bug scale, 1 is game is goddamn horrible. It feels like I'm playing on a Nintendo 64, and 10 is literally like I don't experience any. I'll have to give it an 8 just to be safe. That way no one freaks out. Now, I can't really figure out a way to mathematically put these together, so the overall rating I'm going to give Warframe is definitely, I'm going to have to agree with Steam here, 9 out of 10. Maybe an 8.5. The reason I say that is because Warframe has done something beautiful. They have created a game that consistently can be played despite what anybody says. It has been going on for 10 years and it is still growing. They still have plenty of content plans, and it's definitely moving to the steps in the right direction. The move and groove that they're doing to get to the end looks amazing. If you compare Warframe in the beginning to now, it is just remarkable. The fact that they're making a soul frame is a little frightening, and it is something that I think a lot of people should be worried about. If you don't know what soul frame is, I think one of the directors of Warframe left, and then they're moving to work on a different game, which is fine. That sounds amazing. I can't wait to see what they do, but it begs the question, are they going to be dropping Warframe? Are they going to be working more on soul frame? Are they going to, not put as much attention on Warframe, put it all into soul frame, and if soul frame crashes, move back to Warframe? I feel like that's going to lose a lot of audiences, and it's already not the best step in the right direction. However, I'm still going to be excited to play both, and I really hope Warframe stays around. Warframe is one of those games that I will say for my final end game summary that you will probably end up leaving it, then coming back no matter what you do. Even if it is only for an hour, if it's when you're high with your friends, when your friends playing and you're just bored, it'll happen. You will probably touch Warframe again no matter how you like to, it doesn't matter how you cut the cookie, you're still gonna eat it. Anyway, I think that's a good solid review, and if you have any other games you'd like me to review, you let me know. I'll get better at it, don't worry. I'm not gonna just keep saying stupid shit. I'm doing a lot better. I have a bunch of cliff notes. I've been thinking about making this video for a while, so I'm glad I did. Thank you guys so much for watching. Eat my butt.